This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. On this episode of the MQP, it's Jade Maris from the band Vanitas, described once as Periphery meets Disney, progressive metal outfit. Vanitas has been making waves since their debut EP only 3 years ago in 2022. The Birmingham five-piece have wasted no time establishing themselves in the UK music scene with dynamic live performances supporting acts in the past, such as Monuments, Voyager, Galactic Empire, and Destrage. In 2024, Vanitas returned Mature and Dangerous with their sophomore EP, Chaos Theory, to multiple positive reviews since its release last August. Their new single, Your Demise, came out last month, and I'm happy to have Jade join me here on the Metal Queens podcast. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Jade. I'm from Vanitas. Thank you for having me here today.
So let's start with the story behind this band and how it came about.
So, Vanitas used to operate under, I class it as a different band, but I met Mitch and John, the guitarist and bassist at university a few years ago in 2019. And we originally formed a band called Verb the Noun, a very silly joke band name. And that's kind of where I had my first experience gigging around the UK and sort of finding my feet as a vocalist. And as sort of we developed and matured, our sound matured, and we kind of thought, okay, this is becoming something different. So we decided to rebrand early 2022 and start afresh with Vanitas, joined by Elijah. So Elijah joined us, and then later on in 2023, Jackson, our drummer, joined us, and that is the new complete lineup.
Your Demise, the single that came out in March. I love the video for that. First of all,
Thank
where
you.
did you find that church? It's not a cathedral; it's like a chapel, right?
So it's I had a few friends in other bands that had filmed music videos there. That's how I found it. I was like watching other music videos because when I know we wanted like a church type scenario. The branding for kind of 2025 is purple and gold. So we wanted something very gold, very majestic kind of feeling. And I saw this video and thought, oh, that's a cool location. So I sort of reached out to some friends, and it's an abandoned nunnery in Worcestershire, I
Mm.
think. And they primarily rent out to bands and filming crews in the day, and then in the evenings they do ghost tours. So it's very, very haunted as well.
Yeah.
But it was just perfect for the music video.
And what's the story behind Your Demise?
So Your Demise is sort of, I guess it's sort of a diss track to put it simply, and it's sort of an angry feminist anthem, and it's about the idea of when you have men in the music industry that so often abuse their power or they get a platform and everyone thinks they're great, but secretly behind closed doors they're not a very nice person, and it's sort of about the idea that karma's going to come back to get you and your demise is coming soon. So it's sort of a empowering song, and I hope that anyone that unfortunately relates to that issue can find catharsis in the song and can find it kind of yeah, like I said, cathartic to listen to and sort of feel empowered from it. Really, that's the idea of Your Demise. But we told that story through, as always, a dramatic lens in the music video. And we had this idea of an arrogant prince who's not being very nice, and he goes to the fortune teller and he's hoping to be told he's going to become the king, but instead the fortune teller says, "Oh no, your demise is coming." And obviously the music video is how that unfolds. And we sort of took inspiration from a Game of Thrones scene
Mm.
where there's a guy that gets drowned in molten hot gold, and that's the idea. And we always like to do something visually interesting in our music videos and make it quite dramatic. So we thought that was a good way to tell the story of the lyrics in a very Vanitas way.
And you have released a new single, Lucid Dreams. Tell me the story behind
Yes.
Lucid Dreams.
Very recently. So, those of you that will have seen the Lucid Dreams music video knows that we filmed it in the same location on the same day, and it's a continuation of the story from Your Demise. So, in Your Demise, you meet these mystical hooded figures, that are called the Solaire Cult, and I won't reveal too much as we are sort of midway through the story now. But this is going to be an overarching story that continues. So, in this video, the old prince is dead and they need a new leader, and I play the role of the woman that becomes their new leader, and the music video tells the story of how I join them on their journey.
Jade, for those who haven't heard Vanitas before and are watching this for the first time, how would you describe your sound?
So, obviously, as you sort of read in our bio at the start, Periphery meets Disney is a good way to put it. But if I was to elaborate on that slightly,
Mm.
progressive metal, but with big epic orchestra and lots of symphonic elements. And we're very, very much inspired by video games and movie soundtracks, especially your Final Fantasy, your sort of JRPGs, Kingdom Hearts, which we're named after as well. So that is a very big part of our sound. So the reason we sort of said Periphery meets Disney, as it's the sort of prog metal inspirings of bands like Periphery, Monuments, Devin Townsend, as sort of some of our biggest inspirations, merged with epic film game soundtrack level orchestra is what we're trying to do.
What's the songwriting writing process with these guys back here? Is it a collaboration, or are you the primary songwriter?
So I would say that we all contribute to songwriting, definitely. Mitchell, the lovely guy with the man bun, is definitely on the left there. He's definitely the primary songwriter, and I sort of handle all the top line. So all of the lyrics and vocals are normally entirely written by me. I do help with the instrumental writing a little bit too. I kind of help with the structure. I'm normally the one to I sing ideas to the boys, and they sort of play it on the guitar, bass, whatever. But generally how it goes is Mitch will come up with a rough idea. He's pretty good with structure. Elijah's really good with leads. Jackson writes all his own drum parts. John's a pretty big songwriter in the band as well, so there's quite a few songs that are primarily John-led too. So generally speaking, one of them, normally either Mitch or John, will kind of come back with an idea, sometimes Elijah too, and then we'll collaborate to sort of flesh out the idea, finalize the structure, and then I normally get the song last, after I've sort of helped manage the instrumental version, and then I sit and write the vocals and lyrics.
What's the goal when you start the process of writing a song? You mentioned dramatic. You guys like dramatic. What else?
Yeah, so we're a very maximalist band, and my main goal is always to make something really emotional, really cathartic. I like high highs and low lows. And obviously as a vocalist, I not always, but in the last few years, I've developed my harsh vocals and learned how to scream. So I like to just try and combine a little bit of everything: screams, cleans, big belty sections, soft sections, and the more range I can get in there, the better. But honestly, ultimately, I'm trying to serve the song. So whatever the message of the lyrics is about, whatever I've decided to write about, I'm trying to kind of write a story and a narrative around that. And hopefully have a big. We're big on our big uplifting choruses, so that's normally always a given as well.
Was music a big part of your life growing up? Parents, grandparents, siblings?
So interestingly, not so much with my family, but definitely a big part of my personal life growing up. I was very much a bit of a nerd at school. I was, the stereotypical emo kid a lot. And especially as I got older into my teens, I had a bit of trouble with my home life, and music definitely was my escape. I would stay in the music practice rooms until the cleaners kicked me out at school every night. I made friends with the janitor, and he used to always sort of joke that I lived there. And I would just be watching endless singing videos and practicing singing, and that's all I really wanted to do. I never really joined band properly until I got to university. I joined a few bands prior to that, but there was always just sort of played the local pub for someone's birthday, or play like a school concert. So my first real experience of being in a proper gigging band was Verb the Noun, the predecessor to Vanitas. And so I have a lot to thank to these boys as well for kind of getting me into a live gigging scenario. So that's where I really kind of cut my teeth and learned how to perform live properly, and I sort of developed a lot since then. But yeah, it's all I've ever done. I've always studied music. Outside of Vanitas, my day job is I'm a music teacher and a vocal coach. So my whole life definitely revolves around music.
Birmingham, what's the music scene like there? What's the metal scene like?
It's amazing. I'm sure, as you know, it's kind of the birthplace of heavy metal, a lot of people say. You've got your Black Sabbath, your Judas Priest, and it's really just inescapable. There's so many amazing metal venues here. There's always gigs going on. There's a lot of sort of metal fans in and around Birmingham. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, like I'm originally from Nottingham, Derby area, and I moved to Birmingham from there when I started university. And the whole reason I moved to Birmingham was because of that, because this is the home of heavy metal. It's got a great heavy metal scene. Not that Nottingham and Derby does too, but Birmingham is just bigger It's the second biggest city in the UK, so it just made a lot of sense to move here. And, I've stayed ever since, so it must be doing its job well. And there's just always a buzz. There's always great bands here. It's just the right place to be if you want to be in a metal band.
Mm. You said the band had a different name and then Vanitas. Where did the name Vanitas? Who came up with that?
So that was sort of a joint effort between, I think it was me and John that first suggested it, and then sort of everyone jumped on board and agreed to it. And it's a character from a game called Kingdom Hearts, which we're all pretty big fans of. One part of my Vanitas outfit this year is this lovely Love Rocks necklace, which has got a key in it, and that's sort of a little nod to Kingdom Hearts. And it's literally a Disney meets Final Fantasy video game. Kingdom Hearts is, if you've not heard of it. So it's a great inspiration of our music, and it just matches us really well. It's a cool sounding name. So that's kind of where it originated from, really.
All right, a couple of singles out now. Nothing yet on an EP, but might be coming in the future. Check out maybe vanitasband.com for more info on that. How about plans for touring? I noticed a couple of dates up on your website, I guess, for this summer. Any other plans for the fall?
Yeah, so we've obviously got we've got a weekender coming up. It's probably happened now. So we've got a weekender in May, and that's where we're going to Whitehaven and Manchester, and then we have a hometown show in Birmingham, which would be really fun. A few dates announced already for kind of late summer and fall, and there is plans to tour this fall. I'm still ironing out all the details. So if there's a particular place you'd like us to play, please comment that, and that will help me get the ball rolling. But we've definitely got a few dates confirmed already that will be announced very shortly, and a few more to be added as well.
You have a favorite place to play?
Oh, tough question. I mean, we've played loads of amazing venues around the UK. It's like a long-term bucket list dream to get out of the UK as well, if we could ever go to Europe or America or beyond. I mean, I know that's very, very hard for a band of our size and in this sort of climate, but that would be the goal. But in terms of in the UK, obviously, our favourite place to play is the Flapper in Birmingham, is our sort of hometown favourite venue. We always play there. And you can expect us to play there again this year too. So it's just really homely, and we know everyone there really well. We always know it's going to be a good show. So it's just a nice venue we always like to come back to.
Jade, I heard none of you had your driver's licenses, but I think you got yours right at the end of last year.
Oh, a very prominent topic this week, as my whole week has been taken over by car troubles. But yes, I finally got my license in November, and the rest of the boys are catching up slowly. So by the time this interview goes out, Mitch might also have his license. He's very close to the cusp. Jackson's on his way with it. Elijah and John a bit further behind, if I'm honest, but they're getting there. But yeah, so we're all quite a young band still, in our sort of early mid-20s. And for me, back when most people learned to drive, I was too busy having family drama, and then I got to uni and I was a broke student and had no money to learn to drive. So I've really only been able to start learning to drive in my sort of mid-20s. Now I've got a bit of a better job, but it's paid off. And trust me, when we did our first tour last year, trying to get around the UK when none of us have a license was challenging, but we somehow pulled it off, which means hopefully, if we do another tour this year, it will be a lot easier because we will be able to drive ourselves.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we're going to wrap up, Jade, with 5 questions for Jade. I got to start with this one. Favorite video game?
Ooh, I mean, I know what I've been talking about Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, and they're great games and I love them. But I am an Animal Crossing nerd, and I went to the Animal Crossing Sea Life event the other week, and I've been playing it since I was a little girl. So I love Animal Crossing.
All right. Any hidden talents?
Ooh, hidden talents. I mean, I'm pretty much an open book. So, and the main thing I'm good at is singing. So, I don't know what I'd say for hidden talents. I used to do shot put and be pretty good at that. Not that I've done it in years, but I'd say that's a weird one people won't expect.
Yeah, I used to do that too. Yeah, back in the day. First concert you went to?
I went to see The Killers with my mum when I was about 7.
Favorite female vocalist of all time?
Tough, very tough. I could be here all day, but since these are meant to be quick fire questions, one of my female vocalist idols is Lauren Babick. She's amazing.
Actually, she's going to be on this podcast very soon too. So,
Hey,
yeah,
no way.
I thought you were going to say Amy Lee. I did 3 other interviews this week, and it was Amy Lee, unanimous.
Oh,
All
no,
right.
I mean, Amy Lee's great, but Lauren Babick, goals.
I know you said that music's been your life. If you weren't in the music business, what would you be doing?
I used to also do a lot of theatre acting and drama, so maybe that. Also, I've always wanted to travel, so maybe something to do with the travel industry.
Hmm. All right. Jade Maris. There she is.
That's me.
Vanitas is the band. More info online, vanitasband.com. You can get updates on their latest singles, touring, and also on IG, Vanitas Band. They are from Birmingham, England. Jade Maris, thanks so much for joining me here on the MQP.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm Steve Richards. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.